teachers, we are excited, and I hope that lots of you are joining us. And we don't need just ESL teachers here today. We'd like everybody in JCPS to watch this show, because we think what we're going to show you is going to help you help all students. And our very favorite thing about this is that these tools, when we talk about personalized learning, this is personalized learning, because students are going to learn how to use these tools, and then they can get exactly what they need. So this isn't something that a teacher has to do for each individual student. These tools can really be taught to students so that they can use exactly what they need. What do you think, Renee?
Yeah, I think that's true. So, I mean, these are just great tools and are really going to allow you to provide the supports that your students need. I mean, they're just great tools. I mean, I don't have any other words.
I love it. So I'm looking at the chat. I've got Drew Courtney, an amazing high school teacher, now ESL resource teacher. He's going to be my new partner in crime. We've got Elizabeth Rose, an amazing middle school resource teacher who just came to us. We stole her from Westport Middle. We've got Corey Rogolinsky. I love Corey. She's been doing our online PDs with us. Oh, Jack, we've got all kinds of great people. So jump on in and ask us and tell us what you need. We've got Drew and Elizabeth who can answer all those questions, and we'll be helping you here. So this is exciting. And Chandler's there too. All right. So, okay. All right, let's get started. So Immersive Reader is awesome. And that's what we're going to highlight today. But before we do that, I want to take a peek at this infographic. So Dr. Irina McGrath, she's amazing. And she now works for KDE. So I miss her dearly. She and I made this graphic a few months ago because we were really excited by the accessibility functions in both platforms. And we would look at Google, and then we started looking at Microsoft, and we're like, you know what? You really have to think about what you want to do in each situation, because sometimes Google is the right answer, and sometimes Microsoft is the right answer. So for example, if you were here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Renee and I showed you how to use captions. So captions are awesome. You can use those in Google Slides, and so kids can see exactly what you're saying as you're saying it. But you know what? Captions in Google Slides are only in English. If you jump to the Microsoft side, you can actually speak in English or speak in Spanish or another language, and you can get a translation on the screen instantly. So, if you can app smash this with Screencastify, that might be awesome for students in your class. Voice typing, same thing. We showed you on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday how to use voice typing. You can also do that in Microsoft. It's in Word, and it's called Dictate. Google Translate is amazing. And we showed you all kinds of things you can do. If you missed it, go back and watch. But Microsoft Translator is really cool too. You can have a meeting with families or students, and every student can turn their device to the language they want. And so you can translate your message in one language, English, and everybody gets exactly what they need. So that's super cool. Google Forms, we know and love. There's not a lot of language support there. We have been using Microsoft Forms to actually send forms home to parents, where they could do a drop-down menu at the top. Scott Belden at Doss High School is the master of this. He can show you how to do a drop-down menu so parents can read it in Swahili, French, whatever language they want. So that's an awesome one. And then YouTube. Well, that's just Google. But on the Microsoft side, Immersive Reader is a tool that only Microsoft has. So at the bottom of this infographic, we have the languages that you can get in each. Google has over 100. Microsoft doesn't have as many.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. If you'd like to get this infographic, Irina and I have a website. It's called ELL 2.0. Just go to bit.ly ELL 2.0, and you can get this infographic and a million other things. We create weekly resources for teachers. So there's lots of stuff there for you guys. All right. So I'm going to tell you that if you haven't used Microsoft in a while, you're going to want to take another look, because Satya Nadella, he's the CEO of Microsoft, and he came on board several years ago. And when he came to Microsoft, he said that accessibility would be one of the organization's core missions. And this is important to know. Mr. Nutella has a child with special needs, and he felt an ideological and emotional need to go ahead and provide more inclusive supports for all users. He believed this so strongly that he actually changed Microsoft's company mission. So their new mission statement is this: at Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. It's awesome. So what we're going to show now, Immersive Reader, is a full screen reading experience that was originally designed for students with dyslexia. It does include line spacing, highlighting, all sorts of other tools to support striving readers. And we're going to show you those. But what Renee and I are going to focus on, teachers, is showing you how you can harness these powers and show them to your kids so that they can support themselves. And so Renee's going to take it away with a demo for you.
Sure. So whenever you want to start with Immersive Reader, we want to start at office.com, and we're just going to sign in. The good news is we can use our same Jefferson County email and password to sign in because it's linked with our email. And so it all works flawlessly, just so easy to use. So I'm going to hop here and I'm going to show you how quick this is. I'm going to go to office.com. And because I'm already signed in, it's not going to ask me to sign in. You'll notice I have apps here. These are all the apps that we have available. And what Michelle was saying yesterday was that a lot of people have the misconception now that you have to buy Microsoft products. They're so expensive, but all of these tools are free for students and teachers. That's right, Michelle?
That's right. Go to Office, I think it's /teacher.
For teachers and students, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we can use these tools, and they're, in a way very similar to using Google Docs or those kind of things, but it's Microsoft Words with the same look and feel of Microsoft. So we're going to be in Microsoft Word today. And so I'm going to go ahead and open a new document. I'm just going to do a new blank document by pressing this plus button here. All my other files that I've created are down below. And so I'm just going to start with a new one because there's different ways you can start with Immersive Reader. So the first way is just to open a new document and create some text. Oh, and let me start with this a little bit bigger so you can see.
Isn't it fun when everyone's watching you type, Renee?
I know, and I just realized I should probably be talking as I'm talking. That's probably kind of boring. So just writing a sentence or two, to talk about this so you can see what it looks like in the translator. I'm keeping with yesterday's theme of penguins. Early in the week, it was frogs. Now it's So I'm just going to type a little bit of text. Another fun fact when you are in Word Online, and a big tip to know too is this is also only, Immersive Reader is only in Microsoft Word Online. It's not on your desktop version. So if you're looking for Immersive Reader on your desktop Word, you're not going to find it. So you need to be in Word Online. So we're going to go and I was going to show you the cute little tool. So you can go to Insert and Emoji, and they already have the emojis built in here, but you can also go to More Emojis and find other little examples. So we have a little penguin in here. So he's really cute. So we'll put him in. So those emojis could be another way that you could add picture support to your text and just to give the students a little bit of support. So I love the little emojis that just had to put in. So when we do this now, I just have a plain document. If I want to look in Immersive Reader to get those extra tools, I'm going to go to View, and then I'm going to go to Immersive Reader. 2 simple clicks, View, Immersive Reader. When I open Immersive Reader, it's going to give me a completely new view. All my writing tools are gone. Oh, let me turn off my tools from yesterday, Michelle. All my preferences are still there. Want to hide those. Those are.
It remembers. It knows what we like.
It does. And so now it's given away all our good information. Mm-hmm. So now we have Immersive Reader open, and you can see all my editing tools are gone. And so I'm just looking at the text. This is purely for reading. So my first option is to press the play button down at the bottom to have it read back to me. And I'm going to make sure I turn that. See, I didn't. I'm going to turn it off. Make sure it's not talking. Okay, let's try this.
Today, we are going to talk about penguins. Penguins are cool. Penguin.
It reads the emojis as well. So I just love that. I think that is so neat. And so you could continue to write a sentence and it would say, using the penguin in the sentence. So love that feature.
So teachers, I'm wondering if you have read alouds, if you have students, ECE students, ESL students, younger students who benefit from a read aloud, if we show them this tool, that's going to be really helpful. So talk to me in the chat and tell me how you think you could use this.
Yeah. And while we're waiting for some answers, I'll go ahead and show you a few of the text features you have to change. So, in order to increase, I can't even think of words today. So if I want to increase text size, readability, that's the word I was looking for. Readability. If I'm looking for readability, I have some options here, and we can take out a lot of the white light and put in what is that called? The dark, what do they call it? The dark view or I can't even think of anything now. It'll come to me in 5 minutes when I'm thinking.
I bet it's like a dark mode, right?
It's like dark mode. You can do this on your phone as well. I think it's called dark mode, but then I thought that doesn't sound right. So, you can take away some of those lights and change the backgrounds to make it a little bit easier to view, a little bit easier on the eyes. Michelle, do you want to tell them a little bit about Comic Sans?
Yeah, so I had this verified by Brian Franklin, who's an expert in this area yesterday. So I feel safe sharing this. But Comic Sans, graphic designers have always made fun of that font and said that it's not good for design purposes. But I've actually read articles where it says that it's great for students with dyslexia. It helps students read and focus better. So Comic Sans might be a font you want to use.
Yeah, and you'll notice I have increased spacing turned on, and so I can pop that on and off. But I do think it, will be easier for students, to look at those words when everything's not so crammed together. So those are those kind of basic formatting features. So now we can talk about the grammar options. Michelle, do you want to talk about any of those?
Sure. So the second tab in Immersive Reader, you can go ahead and select syllables. And so let's take a look at this. So there we go. You can see how now we have the words broken into segments. So if you're working with students who are developing readers, you can help them. Actually, I've been helping with the scaffolds on the choice boards, and Jenny Averly, I think it was Jenny's prompt, was about writing a haiku. So I actually used this the other day to go ahead and find out how to segment the words, to do it neatly. So I jumped over here into Immersive Reader, put the haiku in, and it gave me my syllables so I could show the students how to count those out. I also love down here the parts of speech. So Renee's going to turn some of those on for us. So will you just turn on adjectives? Just adjectives?
Just adjectives. Done.
And so the fun thing about this is if you're teaching parts of speech in class, or you're talking about making your writing more descriptive, using adjectives, you see how it's a different color now. It's green. We could go ahead and take a text and highlight it, put it into Immersive Reader, which is just copying and pasting into Word and then pushing these buttons, and show students, let's really focus on the adjectives today and how we use those. In addition to just having them color coded, we could even turn on a label. So if we click that little button at the bottom, I bet Renee can turn on the labels for us. And then we can see adjective, and you could turn on all parts of speech, which I think gets a little busy, but we could just turn on, there you go, or we could just turn on parts of speech that we're highlighting. So from a high school perspective, that's what I think would be really handy. And I'd love to see in the chat what you guys are thinking, how you could use this. And maybe Renee, you have some ideas for elementary?
Yeah, I know a lot of the language standards revolve around parts of speech, and my son today was just working on parts of speech and saying, what's an adverb? So I think this would be a great way to kind of demonstrate that and maybe, even do some self-checking and putting that in there and finding out what the parts of speech are. So they definitely think it has its uses.
Yeah, I love it. And so part one, we looked at the spacing and sort of those readability features. The second part of Immersive Reader, we zeroed in on the language. You saw the syllables and the parts of speech. Now Renee is going to take us over to the third column, which is my favorite. That is really going to support our English learners. She's going to show us languages. So she's going to show us how we can actually translate a document for students, how we can get a read aloud, and our very favorite, the Pictionary or the dictionary. So I guess it is a Pictionary. So
it is the Pictionary. So the Picture Dictionary, that's a mouthful to say, is really a great feature, again, for students that are acquiring the language, learning new vocabulary. A lot of times, it's difficult. So Immersive Reader has given us a little tool. If I hover over a word or click on a word, it's going to give me a picture of that word, and I can listen to it as well in English. So this is my favorite picture definition of all times. Agree with me in the chat. Give me a shout if you think this is not the best definition of cool. But it also highlights that it gives you definitions for words with multiple meanings. So you have cool as in, a little bit cold, and also cool as in, cool. So I love the Picture Dictionary. So there's that feature. And you can toggle that on and off right here in this switch. So I can turn it off or I can turn it on. I don't know really why you'd want it off. The next feature is Translate. So I have the option to translate into all of these different languages. Look at this. Just tons and tons of languages. So this is a great feature. Again, Michelle mentioned this at the beginning. This is one of these tools that you are going to have to train your students to use for themselves. Unfortunately, it's not something you can turn on for them. It's something that they will have to use for themselves. So this is why this is a super important feature, but they also have to learn how to use it. So you have two ways to translate. You can translate by word, which is just being able to click on a word and seeing the two definition or the translation side by side with the word. And then you've got your Picture Dictionary, which this is just amazing. So if you're just needing a little bit of support, I think this is a great feature. So maybe you can, you're almost there with your English proficiency, but every once in a while you come back, what is this word, and then you can have that little bit of support there. Or,
So Renee, I was going to say, we know that Google Translate offers more than 100 languages. Immersive Reader has fewer languages, something like, I think it's 30. It's on that infographic. But for some of those rare languages that we have, like Kinyarwanda, which has just been added to Google Translate, don't you think that this Picture Dictionary could fill in a lot of gaps for languages we don't have the translation for?
Absolutely. Again, it's a great support. There's no answer. There are languages that we have a really hard time translating and finding the translators or interpreters for. So, this gives you, your best effort as a teacher. You're giving your students your best by providing them with this tool and showing them how to use this tool. Let's see. The second way you can do it, we did by word. We can also turn on by document. And in this way, it's going to open the document. Let me turn that off now so you can see the whole screen. It's going to open the whole document and translate the entire document. You can also go back to the original right here, and then you can switch back to the translation. So if you're kind of comparing back and forth, you can look at it that way. You can play it back. So I just go down here to play it back.
اليوم سنتحدث عن طيور البطريق. طيور البطريق هي كل نقطة بطريق.
So pretty cool, right? Being able to change it this way and looking at, just the way all the different languages look. let me turn the whole document. Just amazing being able to see this. So a great tool with different features here for translation, the picture dictionary, also the line focus. Do you need any more reason to use Immersive Reader?
So Renee, I love Immersive Reader. I think it's great. I think one of the barriers that I hear from teachers is they're nervous about how to get started with it. Like, how do I use this with students? How do I get work sent to students using Immersive Reader? So would you go back to the beginning again and just show us, like, how do you start with Immersive Reader? Because I'm seeing in the chat that we have sold people on Immersive Reader. They want to use it. But start at the beginning with office.com and show everybody what's there.
So at office.com, let me go see, can I go back one more to my apps? So let me just do it this way. I'll go back to office.com. You have other methods. When you go to office.com, you can open Word, and you can start that way by starting a new document. Once you have your document, you can share it out in different ways. But I also wanted you to know that you can also upload a document from your desktop or from your documents by just clicking this button. And I already had one in my documents from yesterday's. You can just upload the document that way and have it ready to go. So there's yesterday's penguin. And you can just share this out in the same way, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it just provides a link just like you do in Google Docs. Mm-hmm. And this could be copied and pasted to an assignment in Google Classroom, right? I'm thinking that's how I would do it. Is that how you would do it?
Yep, that's how we do it. And I actually had Drew Courtney, who is teaching and helping us at the same time. I had him do a demo this morning just to make sure that it worked the way I thought it did. And he said, as long as the link is viewable, that the students have a view-only copy of the link, it'll work just fine. So, go back to Word. I know some of us haven't used Word in a few years, but go ahead and type up your stuff in Word, get that viewable link, and share it out. And Drew is there in the chat. So if any of you have questions, he is successfully doing this with his assignments for his high school English learners at Moore right now. And he wants them to be able to have those read alouds. He wants them to have those picture dictionaries. He wants that translation there. So he's in the trenches doing this right now. So we're so lucky to have him there, and Elizabeth is there same way. She can answer your questions about that. But this is just such a game changer. And again, Renee, I think that the really important thing, the important takeaway for teachers is that we are giving students power to use the tools that they need to support themselves, right, with this.
Exactly.
And this works beautifully on a Chromebook. You're going to see, as you start to use Immersive Reader, you can always identify it by the symbol. So it has that little, she's pointing to it. It's hard to see it, but it's the book with the speaker. And you're going to see when you go to other applications, if you use other digital tools, you're going to see that little book and that speaker, and it's going to tell you that other apps, other programs use that. And so check it out and see if it's there. Now, we had a great discussion yesterday about what applications are okay to use, because it's kind of the Wild West out there right now. Everybody's sending us this, try our program, this is free. So a good place to start is to go to jcps.me/software, and you can see where JCPS is on that software and what kind of privacy agreement we have with them, and whether it's, you have a green light to use that with students in your class. One last thing we want to tell you, we all know about equity and digital equity right now, and that not all kids have a device at home. Not all kids have a Chromebook. We're going to have kids that are doing work on phones. We're going to have kids that are doing work on paper. So please go to either our NTI hub, that main page, or check out the the YouTube channel, the digital learning channel, for a video, and it's called Language Help with Phones, and it has my picture on it. Sorry. But if you go there, I show you how to use something called Microsoft Office Lens. It's a free program. It's on your phone. It's actually teacher should just use it because it's a great tool because you can quickly scan and upload documents. But the very cool thing about it is that it has Immersive Reader embedded into it. So if you take this video and you put it in your Google Classroom to show kids how it works, they can take their paper choice board, they can take books that they have at home, and they can hover over and use Immersive Reader on those texts at home. So it's very cool. Every educator needs to know about Office Lens. It's so easy to upload documents. It's a scanner in your pocket. You can make things PDF. You can add, but the powerful thing for us is that you can do Immersive Reader right there. So I love that you guys have joined, and I love all the questions that you're asking.